I think for anybody who works a regular 9 to 5 job, your weekends are your most valuable time. While it is time to maybe relax and kick back, it's also time to do all the things you need to do. For me, there's family commitments, spending time with my son, working on the new house, unpacking, all sorts of things. So weekends are valuable. And it's always interesting to try and sneak my hobby time in where I can. This particular weekend, my wife is working nights, so that means she sleeps during the day, which means I have Junior during the day. And so I'm not going to get a ton of time down in the cave this weekend, but I am going to try to get as much stuff done in a weekend as I can. Bring you along for the ride. So here's what a weekend looks like. I'm trying to sneak in your hobbying. I'll try and give times and things as I go. Board games, role-playing games, assembling and painting models and miniatures. These are my hobbies. I'm Howard Blues, one half of the popular podcast Beer, Blues, and BS. And now join me as I rebuild my cave of one. Hello, everybody. Howard Blues here. It's 8:12 in the morning, and I'm in luck. Junior's still sleeping. My wife just got home from working night shift, so Lefty is sleeping. So I have a bit of time here. And I got a lot of stuff I want to do this weekend, and it's one of those things. I need to try and get it done. What all do we got? I got new bookcases that we put into the Cave of Wonder. They're, news to say. They're bookcases that Lefty and I inherited with the condo. We moved them here. We debated putting them into kids' rooms, decided not to do that, and they decided to come and live in the Cave of Wonder. So I have a bunch of boxes to unpack and get those up on shelves. I need to clean down here, especially if you can tell by the timbre of my voice. I'm one, tired, but two, I'm kind of all talked out after recording another long session of Beer, Blues, and BS, which means that I have bottles that I didn't take care of last night, an empty Stein, a couple Mountain Dew cans from trying to say. So needless to say, the cave needs some cleaning. Plus, there's been some new boxes and such that have come in, card project to do, and at some point I need to get stuff a bit cleaner because I have a secret project. Oh, that's right. I can't show it yet because it's for Kidder. So I have a secret hobby-related project that I would like to get to. I need to get started on, and I'll try and film some of that too. So needless to say, even to get to that project, I need to do some cleaning, some tidying, some organizing. I need to put some new stuff away. I think I still have that box of Honk sitting here. There's plenty to do in the cave, and so I'm going to try and do as much as I can. But as I said, Lefty's working nights this weekend, which means I'm in charge of the wee one, which means my time is limited. So if I'm going to get stuff done, including editing podcast, oh my gosh, so much to do, so little time. I'm going to try and record as much of it as I can so you can kind of see what I go through in a weekend. So I think task one is to start on some bookcases. So let's go there. Alright, so I tried to do this as quickly as I could. If you saw in the time lapse, just because I wanted to get this done. And as I said, when I started, it was about 8:15. I have to get Junior up at 8:30. Otherwise, he doesn't get the right amount of naps and such. So basically, with this, I've kind of just thrown things on the shelves. So stuff's not quite in order, but just to maybe give you just a little bit, take a little bit of time here to talk about what is this stuff that's on my shelf and such. I mean, some of you, you're eagle-eyed. Those who know the hobby, you probably spot some stuff and went, "Oh, I know what that is." But I wanted to maybe spend just a wee bit of time kind of talking about what's on here. So if I flip the camera around. All right, so shelf 1. We have basically we start here on the top. We have our D&D books. So we have 5th edition. I haven't collected a lot of 5th edition, but I haven't had a game group in a while. So I basically have the basics to play. I picked up Ravenloft because why not? And I have a couple of these are guidebooks put out by Reaper Miniatures. So they kind of have some information. Great stuff. So 5e, not a lot. Moving into 4e, I have a much larger selection. I know a lot of people really don't like 4th edition. For whatever your take is, my personal take is I actually enjoyed the system. I truthfully felt like it was a lot of fun, and 2, it was the kind of system that was so simple I hardly ever had to consult the book. You know, I could run a campaign without having to look things up all the time because it was fairly easy to do. So I really liked that one. And then moving this way, we get into 3rd and 3.5 edition. And I do have a lot of this because when they switched over to 4th edition, I picked up a bunch of these books as people were putting them on clearance because they were no longer the current edition. And there's a few more on the shelf down. As I said, wasn't able to quite organize these as tight as I'd like. Going down the shelf, we get into the Star Wars role-playing game. So we have Edge of Empire with kind of those different source books, Age of Rebellion, and Force and Destiny. I've had more time to collect Edge of Empire, so I have more of that. Age of Rebellion, not so much. Force of Destiny, not so much. Maybe one of these days I will track those down. I probably should do it soon, since they've now said that they're issuing a new Fantasy Flight's issuing a new Star Wars role-playing game. So yeah, I do have Pathfinder. Not a lot of Pathfinder. I played in a online forum play-by-post version of Pathfinder, and so I needed a few rule books to play, and that's all for there. So there's those. There's some source books in here, and then some more 3.5 stuff. And then we get into some of the wargaming stuff. So Tabletop Gaming Magazine, that came free with the shipment stuff. But then there's Carnivale, which is this amazing skirmish game that kind of involves parkour, but it's in like 1800s Venice, and there's some Cthulhu stuff. It's really cool. As a faction of plague doctors that I'm actually a big fan of, and I have some of those figures. We have companion books to Dungeon Saga. This is kind of my Mantic section. Mantic games I used to do quite a bit with stuff. There's Dreadball, which is kind of a sci-fi cross between basketball and hockey and football. I love me some Dreadball. I have a lot of Dreadball. And then we get into Warpath and Kings of War and Dead Zone. So a lot of that sort of stuff. Dropping down, we're back to kind of RPG territories with the Doctor Who RPG. Shotguns and Sorcery. That's actually one of the Kickstarters that I didn't think we'd ever get. And it actually did show up. And then we have the Dresden RPGs, which is a set that I'm glad I have. There's a third book that I don't have, but it's a system I've always wanted to run. I would be excited to run one day. You do some really cool things about how you build your hometown where all the action happens. And it's kind of very co-op between your game master and the players. So it's a game that's been on my list. But then I have some other classics in here. Deadlands, Mutants and Masterminds, the Marvel role-playing game. And then we get into, I have my War Machine and Hordes main books, along with the Iron Kingdoms role-playing game, which just got redone for 5e, which is part of the other reason why I have 5e stuff, is because I'm going to get the source books for the Iron Kingdoms because it's kind of a cool setting in 5e, so I kind of need to at least have the basics so we can play that someday. But then we have the Batman miniatures game, Gutshot, which is a cowboy one, Drowned to Earth, has giant apes and such, and dinosaurs. That's kind of a cool one. Wrath of Kings and some others that there, along with some art books and such. That's what's there. Way down on the bottom shelf are binders. So the big one there is my RPG binder. It has lots of information and character sheets from past campaigns, both mine and ones I've played in and ones I've run. My Coat of Arms book I put down here. It's from my old teaching days where we used to do Coat of Arms. Some family history stuff, and then over here there's some Magic the Gathering and other cards in those. So that's kind of those. Now on the other side, because as you can see I still have room, but on the other side I decided to put in my comic books. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I'm not a huge comic book collector. But I have some different things, some different runs, a lot of Batman, some Marvel stuff, especially the Ultimate Marvel books. That was a run that I enjoyed. So I have those. And then down here, just some odds and ends of game books, smaller ones. So there's some stuff for Savage Worlds, Fiasco, things like that. And then over here I have kind of the computer game manuals for right now. I don't know if they'll last. And I didn't even bother to put it in the bottom shelf. So I need to do that at some point, but I don't really have anything more to put in there. So that's what I have up here. And yeah, that's my kind of whole little collection of stuff. So, and then I got a couple of model kits that I put up there. That's another project. Hey, there's a middle school project I put up there. I'd actually put it up there. Junior's fascinated with it. So yeah, bookshelf project complete. We're nearing 8:30. I know I did that really fast. Again, I didn't really organize, and if you looked closely, you might have seen things that are kind of misplaced. So that's done. So I'm gonna have to go wake Junior up here soon. So but let's maybe talk about what else. And again, warning, this is messy. But let's take a current look at the hobby room, because that's where the rest of my time is probably gonna be spent. So if I flip it back around. Okay, so the hobby room still has a massive box problem. Not only have I been unloading boxes and such, but the wife has as well. She started moving some of her craft stuff in. Finally, she told me she'd been waiting for me to get done to do it, and I told her, if you're going to wait for me to have everything done and perfect, you're never going to get to do stuff. So she started moving in some of her craft stuff as well. So we got an extra messy space, including a bunch of brushes that I've now inherited that were from her grandfather. So not all of them are in great condition, but we'll be able to make them work and such. This table is somewhat clean. Just got to clean up that pop can and such, so I have space there. But the painting desk. It is really, it's in a mess. As you can see, there are bottles and cans and such. Mostly because the only thing I've really been able to do on this space is the podcast. So you can see the stein and the bottle. These are left over from the podcast we just did, which in editing time, this might come up before that, but that's a very special beer. So let's just say that. But yeah, you can see I have done a little bit of painting projects, nothing too much, and stalled out almost immediately on them just because time. So yeah, a lot of cleaning and such that needs to happen. So the plan for the weekend, let's see, what else can we do? We got the bookcase done. I have some boxes that are down over here that just came in. I need to take care of those. Maybe try and clean up some of the boxes. That would probably be good. I have a project for Kidder I need to get done. I also have over here the expansion for Arkham Horror, the card game. The Innsmouth Conspiracy came in. I would love to get this sleeved up. And such. So a lot of stuff to do, and I will be balancing this all while also trying to do some podcast editing and take care of Junior. So as I said, unfortunately it's right around time for me to get him up. So that's it for now. The next time I will have time to work on stuff will be when he goes down for a nap later this afternoon. And when that happens, we might try and sleeve some cards. That might be the next thing. So, alright. Should I do a cheesy YouTube transition? I mean, you know, you always see them where they do the whole... Yeah, I don't know that I can do that. I think I'm too old to be cool. Oh well. Alright, we'll see you here in a bit. Alright, so I'm back. And, it's actually like 8:30 at night. So if I turn myself around so you can see my window, yeah, it's dark out. It's night. And you might be going, hey, wait a second, Howard. You said that you were going to come back and do stuff this afternoon. What happened? Welcome to Life with a Toddler. Howie Jr. didn't want to take a nap today, so I didn't get my afternoon work time. So I'm behind schedule on all the things I want to do. So just to reiterate, I got boxes to unpack, I got garbage to clean up, I have my desk to clean up, I have podcasts to edit, I have cards to sleeve, and I had even forgotten when I said earlier, we have we have Survivor Series on Sunday, which means I need to get that card ready. I should probably think about making the thumbnail graphic for that so that we have that done and ready to go so that we can pop that episode out. So a lot to do. So I'm going to try and work on some of that tonight. I'll probably set the Osmo up here to do just a time lapse so you can see what I decide to do. I haven't quite decided, but I didn't even really get dinner tonight, so I'm going to have some dinner. And then probably get started on all of this. So let's see what we can get done this evening.
Alright, so been working for a bit. Didn't get started right away. Tried to enjoy some dinner. Because sometimes even I need to relax. But managed to do a couple of things. I had a Rubbermaid tote over here that had all my RPG stuff and smaller card games. That's now in my extendable desk. There we go. So filled in those drawers, so that's done, which was good. Got rid of a bit of the boxes. Here, let's do this. Yeah, so there used to be a lot more boxes stacked there, so got stuff broken down. I still have some trash that I'll have to bag up. A couple of boxes broken down. One bag of trash filled. So, all in all, feeling pretty good about what I've done. Just about to check the time. It is about 10:30. So what I think I'm going to do is spend the last kind of maybe 30 minutes of my night and do some editing. And I'm not going to film me editing because that sounds really boring. What I'm going to edit, I have a small segment of the podcast that I need to do, but I did a whole video on the opening of Sophie's Revenge. And so I want to, I want to get started on that because I need that to air this upcoming week. So I'll probably kind of get started, as I said, finish the little bit of the podcast so I can set that rendering overnight, start on that video, get a good chunk of that done, doing well, and then maybe tomorrow morning, if I get up before early enough before Junior gets going, get the stuff done for the pay-per-view. So I really, it's 10:30 at night. I've gotten quite a bit done. I'm feeling a lot better than I did this morning when I started this. So we're getting projects done. Maybe not all the projects exactly that I want to do, but we're getting some stuff done. So hang in there. All right, so it's day 2 of the weekend, Sunday, and it's been kind of an interesting morning. Junior got up the same time I did, so no work this morning, so it's now afternoon. Luckily he went down for a nap, unlike what he did yesterday. So I was trying to decide what I wanted to do project-wise, and what I'm going to do is a little bit of groundskeeping. So I have several games that I just need to condense and put in. So like, for instance, I have Fiasco, a great game that came in. So I have this, and it's this big box, but it comes with all of these little expansions. So I want to see if I can fit these into that box and kind of clear up some room. I have a few other projects. I recently got an expansion to the deck building game Seasons. I want to try to put that in the main box. But probably the bigger project that I have here is I have some of the Arkham Horror living card game expansions that I need to sleeve up. And I want to do that so I can protect them and figure out. So I'm going to work on that, and probably by the time I'm done with that, Junior will be awake. If I could get all of this done that I have on the table, I also will work on Terraforming Mars, condensing that. I also have a couple other games to do some condensing too. So starting with this, have a full table. If I get this done, I'll move on to the next thing. So let's see how much I can get done during nap time. Alright, well, I saw on the monitor, Junior's awake, so I guess that's all I'm going to get done for now. So I'm going to go spend time with him, and of course, as I said, I have the stuff with Kidder tonight at SummerSlam, so not SummerSlam, Survivor Series. I don't know why I keep saying that. Anyway, so that's looks like what I'm going to get done for the weekend. I'm going to leave this out here, and hopefully this next week being a holiday week, I should have some more time to try and finish this. But I'm pretty happy. Season's done, Fiasco done, several cards sleeved. Looking good. So thanks for tuning in and kind of checking out what a weekend looks like and trying to get some hobby stuff done. Hopefully this was somewhat interesting, some of the stuff I've done. And we will catch you next time with something. I don't know what yet. It'll be something. Maybe it'll be the end of this project. We'll see. All right. Thanks for tuning in.
You want to start it up?
I can.
Okay.
Gotta do the pre-show stretches. Oh yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beer, Blues, and BS, the podcast where we determine which brand is supreme.